Yen starting free in draw game a course between Liverpool and Brighton. I think it was a good game. My team, a friend Brighton, and they omit me as 8 spots now. So Chelsea 8 major conference league no. Now Chelsea qualify either Champions League or Europa. Team a friend no Brighton, any Brentford, any Fulham, any Bournemouth for now play that particular position no. Or mubia bet me the conference league. Yen him say uko England Conference League trophy no de back or the top teams no be against onje by your teams be munya that European football na e betimi abo omo finances ni nyama back mienu amu metimi abo mo modern into omo hwese Chelsea betimi age that Conference League na enije o say nka Manchester City ebon home modern timi je that is the FA Cup nke be other sports my teams na aka na no ntimi amba ma Crystal Palace etimi occupy that spot Indra. It was a good game. My team a friend Brighton Liverpool their 4th defeat of the season usher into the game and I play a friend Mohamed Salah and no be anyone is here because in him said the Golden Boot awards and the Golden Boot winner that hono Yorkers were born matches navy into Hazard now no between Salah any player friend Kylian Mbappe when the bit me actually go it me winning that prestigious awards now and no be a game no bit me abo goals etimi dia boy Liverpool but Salah in the last 5 games to about my Liverpool why watch 1 goal 1 assist per just a goal snatical about the back when especially when he gets into this Ballon d'Or conversation so ultimisha goals not ultimately we need that Golden Boot way now with the league any reference and Golden Boot for the Premier League any assist no a pushing the point no on the Ballon d'Or is see a moment at September and on bear announce winner no into the Liverpool last game of a ball Obebon no more than Salah bet me the goals ni bebre account we bet me abuana manage me win that prestigious award. Indra we Brighton team on parody they were ready to win the game. Omoba with their full setup kwan bia so me my dreams on person win the game. Liverpool you Chiesa getting the second start of the season or Hesen ko bet me abon no more but the performance wasn't that good. We Chiesa as a player 2 seasons 3 seasons ago na Juventus at the scout they are turn who 100 million class in a pay performance name enko ni nim sa nti ehwe next season getting the chance out of injury say and slot between man opportunity and when it ma perform here but uhwe Indra Brighton team any game on boy there was one incident that happened. I think the VAR incident for the 3rd goal at the back raised a lot of concerns but I think with conversations on the VAR no EPO said the last few games some people we use no try here now if you don't share improve saying next season you bring a good VAR especially the semi-automated one it's me about my decisions it's me akoye ewo into Indra game ni dey boy Brighton now they are in the race for that 8th position and they can get there and qualify for the Conference League within senseme course on the transfer market your team same be concerning clubs ni be hwe so mbet me area finals omo between Chelsea any Robert's game Chelsea so beat me the Champions League in that last game against Nottingham Forest Man United and so so on a team a friend Spurs final no on so beat me no we are the Champions League on so a shot to the transfer year but as of now player friend Kunya there make him so a Man United player no because conversation between 2 clubs no agreement wa ja tum to so Man U projector Amorin a present man ni je ho to energy say next season obejina Man U team ma bo man Man United dey share say omo striker ebeka team no omo dey either another 10 a left a right wing back and also maybe a center mid player back we betimi abo my team na so omo hwe say they can add another goalkeeper maybe say transfers no outgoings near bebre na ska bebre mo they will look at adding another goalkeeper betimi aba ma Unana competition. Oshe Aston Villa yet same say Martinez Kwambia so at the end of the season we free Aston Villa into their last game on boy or Villa Park no. Now I very emotional or wavy fans no. I imagine said that will be his last game for team a friend Aston Villa. Rumors say koso. As of now teams muti eremu in that particular transfer. Man United edinity eremu. Chelsea enso teteho ehwe so betimi nyana. Barcelona enso eteteho but as of now I think the concrete team Ebia Martinez beat me acquire Barcelona because in some course with testage and performance I then the Barcelona no I think Barcelona fans they need the likes of Laporta Alboni I don't think they need testage and performance in more say with the influence of Lionel Messi Ebia play a friend or Martinez our goalkeeper ma Aston Villa beat me Real Barcelona akwa that number 1 spot on Chesney you who on Juventus you who on we Arsenal like ni on beat me as am bom biom e team a friend Barcelona aboa ama team no performance etimi akonye Chelsea striker and 7 as of now information be am by on the type of striker Chelsea for pay but in him say rumors etimi aba Enzo Maresca mayati ase so onya striker in the form of Nicolas Jackson ope inti anu nti ati nsem okoso ene edin a Chelsea fans be push out for Atlanta forward defend saying Retegi say obetimi aba Chelsea. He's one player who shared this season performance what done in Atlanta. Chelsea fans say he's good in the air, the ball striking ability is good, and the chances are Chelsea players they creating highly say obetimi aba team no obetimi aba perform yin. See and the aba be kind the likes of Victor Osimhen, Shesko, Gyökeres and we have friends saying players back who you bia ebia obetimi aba omomodi etimi wi Chelsea team nti ene omo hwe say Chelsea team qualify for the Champions League on that crucial game against team friend Nottingham Forest. They can be able to get in a marking strike or betimi aba my team na den akoye obo Real Madrid to Rodrigo send anyama keka ko de kwan bia so no ebi obetimi free Real Madrid because I think Uti Alonso hunsem I think on kind of plan ho sa Real Madrid as a club omo person omo hwe say betimi nya outgoing be this kabeba then that marking sign no bia to say kwan bia so Real Madrid person sign a player after the FIFA Club World Cup no betimi aba so it is omutimi nya a player like Rodrigo going for 80 70 90 million meaning say they can get money and now fund for a new transfer and the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Manchester City, Chelsea and Arsenal areas are racing but who said the conversation is more based on Chelsea saying how can say I say Rodrigo transfer now more based on Chelsea but based on Chelsea because there is a connection in that Chelsea setup at Real Madrid they player be all and player Real Madrid they share Maki signing at say course in nano Enzo Fernandez and Real Madrid they pay no because stat wise a player or closer to play a friend Toni Kroos who share ability on the ball the passing range any the real creative chances are I think Enzo Fernandez say a player he comes a little bit closer to we a friend play a friend Toni Kroos in any say Real Madrid person will build this team without Toni Kroos present with team meaning say Toni Kroos dey in common car as a player La Liga no mutimi abobo a man in the midfield this season Pedri but Minjin say Madrid be call Pedri who am Barca aton so enye mo say they can be a swap deal between Chelsea and Real Madrid on Rodrigo any the friend is saying Enzo Fernandez but as of now say Real Madrid 8 million bottom sika 150 million ebe so betimi anoke Chelsea doors on Enzo Fernandez ebia Chelsea betimi jai Enzo Fernandez mama nako adinti America say Chelsea share other additions of Andre Santos any other players coming in the summer mo say if there is a good money coming for Enzo Fernandez ebia Chelsea betimi nako but so be me on a personal view I think say if Chelsea enya offer with Rodrigo and Kasha Jaima Enzo Fernandez because they have players that they can fit into that role and also give good numbers to numbers.
Are you looking at only the performance wise and also what he brings to the team in terms of helping the team mentality wise, leadership wise? To be able to say he's obviously one of the leaders.
Yes.
And Chelsea doesn't have much leaders.
Yes.
He's one of them. With the rebuilding phase of Chelsea. Next season will be very crucial to the owners and how the fans will receive them. Now, a big personality like that to leave the club, don't you think, sir, it is a gamble that nobody will want to take?
To me, I don't think it's a gamble. I didn't make us say based on 1, the coach in charge, 2, the players' performance. And at 3, the money coming in. I didn't make us say you Enzo Maresca style of play or pursue about more of a double 10 half spaces. This season numbers Enzo Fernandez it's me Madan numbers. This season the best season in a Chelsea shirt. A ban goals, a ban assist. But performance wise, and I don't think say with me prove enough performance as to say Enzo Fernandez who in the World Cup. Enzo Fernandez I mean who here or Benfica. I didn't make us and say we've seen a lot of conversation about some time back and Chelsea fans because say Enzo Fernandez more of the deep line midfielder or best starting game no with the passing range a bit maybe a game who under Pochettino at the start of the season, first game against Liverpool, how important it was in that game, my performance or that. I think that game Onuka the winning man of the match. This season, you who say there've been a lot of conversation about his numbers. He's not adding enough numbers or a midfield or anything with him and passing pen numbers, and now he has added those numbers to it. But performance-wise, we numbers ne to change. I think performance-wise to me, he hasn't been that Enzo Fernandez from Benfica and also that person of Chelsea.
How do you put numbers aside? Because from a point, it was say he has improved any game from every.
The big man can say he has improved. I think said this season he has added the numbers and Chelsea fans. So but performance-wise, to me, he hasn't been the Enzo Fernandez.
What is the difference? Because the role I under Poch is different from the role Obosisia.
Yes.
And the role Obosisia no. Everything shows that he is playing and playing it well. So how do you expect him to play? Because he's doing everything right.
One saying one thing about my football assistant say we judge players based on numbers. And one thing I who say do baby, people were complaining. I didn't think about Enzo Fernandez 100 plus, and he's not giving the goals, he's not giving the assist. And to see, and he has added those numbers to it. But say, check performance wise. Senior maker say Enzo Fernandez as a player Chelsea who from Benfica, and the player they were looking to bring into the team to try and make sure say his passing range, trying to make sure say those forward passes and trying to distribute the balls are on point. We are not seeing that this season. I didn't make us say so Chelsea game in a whole performance wise I don't think he's there, and we've seen sometimes he come out to make Onua. I think he personally Otimihu and he feels it. So we've seen times that he comes out and be like, okay, even the recent Chelsea game on against Man United, after the game he came out to say I didn't tell Chelsea fans name who the performance they won was because he was playing with one eye, because I think infection and I think those things play a factor. But see a football number based on numbers, and we don't look at the real football on the pitch. See I say player be or 40 goals or 50 goals or we see that is where a lot of clubs make a lot of mistakes going for players, and they will come in after the performance needs to do that same performance.
So you think the performance is not good and Real Madrid want to make him a marquee signing?
Why Real Madrid
are doing a rebuilding?
Why Real Madrid want to make him a marquee signing is not based on the goals and numbers he's giving now. Real Madrid are making him a marquee signing because they need that deep line midfielder. Obi obetime distribute balls ni ye. Obi obetime making sure say that transition from the defense to attack good. And yes, Real Madrid need that caliber of player. They have that caliber of player in Camavinga. But Camavinga long range passes off. He's good with short passes. In TNA, a bay name was say, we be a Chelsea Bernard James or Real Madrid. Enzo Fernandez be called Real Madrid. He'll get that deep line midfield role next or Bono. And he'll perform so well. Say Chelsea fans be for Chelsea for us at the into Motono. But and based on say Omotono, say be a scanning. But now he has moved into a club that's winner the ideal position as a player person ball. And who said the performance is going up. To me, a player like Enzo Fernandez fits so well into that deep line role, starting the game, making sure that the transitions are being moved on well. In Tenya say if there is an offer, Chelsea would like to go for it, because Todd Bowley, so those said they are looking at the club success, but they are looking at also making money. It's one thing about business. Untiminka say they have so much love for the club, say they will invest without no reaping. They are looking at reaping. So if there is a good offer coming from Real Madrid, 170, 150, 200 million, I think they will be tempted to allow him to go, which I think the replacement wouldn't be a problem, because Andre Santos and the rest are in and they can perform so well to the level Enzo Fernandez Eden. So say the marquee signing, maybe it can be an Enzo Fernandez from Chelsea to Real Madrid. I don't think so it will be a problem for a team a friend of Chelsea, especially coping money of 170, 150 million from Real Madrid. And Chelsea set up, so they are looking at adding a left winger. So if there can be a good deal with a Rodrigo, Enzo Fernandez, they'll be me a favor, my fine. But Rodrigo, so he moving out, they've been a lot of concerns about his performance. So now the lot of your friends media blogs they are making concerns about. So he's a player. I think the performance now by based on from November to February. Start of the season on February he picks up. In November he picks up. February he continue. Every day February enough from Natico, which as and now who Real Madrid set up. In recent Champions League campaigns but in the last 4 Champions League campaigns he has scored 5 goals across all. Meaning and those 5 goals they comes between the period of November to February. There are a lot of concerns. Can he fit into the Premier League? Can he fit into clubs like Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City? But I think he's a quality player. The only thing worrying him he's not being praised enough. He's underrated at the team no born. So go team B. Then if you say his contribution can be a great influence on the team, the performance ni team at the aging. So on the transfer market, I think there are a whole lot of things going on. As season transfer, we get a lot of information. Clubs need to be requested they can do good business before 14th of June. FIFA Club World Cup never starts, so that they can get their players ready to play the FIFA Club World Cup. Ebimbe fan is a pre-season. Ebimbe fan said they are going to win the competition. Our competition now will come and give our viewers more information.
With Barcelona, any Rafinha contract extension, Joan Laporta is talking about the revenue they've been able to accrue. Talking about Frankie de Jong, any the coach my extending contract.
Yes, I think the Ocean with Rafinha, Hansi Flick contract extension, they are a no-brainer because these are 2 people that they've performed so well for Barcelona. Hansi Flick and himself buying or signing a short-term contract based on Senna Barcelona for now. They were a bit in doubt, say be a performance, but he has overachieved. Maybe KPIs of the man he has overachieved, and that is one thing I need from a coach in his first season. Rafinha contract renewal in himself last season the car is no more permanent free club no. Next or patch or say more man one chance number and they waiting me prove. So these are 2 people contract extension are something that they should be given, and even now I say Hansi Flick journey to 2027 I think is a good thing. We had a crop of players or more. He needs to coach these players so well so that they can grow well and be the Barcelona team. The Pep Guardiola Barcelona team they can rebuild the same thing. Rafinha contract, so I think it's something that is good. The revenue they've been able to generate is something that is very positive for Barcelona fans and very positive for their players and also the management. Laporta Basso coming in na enyama nkoye yenim say do baby na nkofo serium omu twetwe omu pitch grass no omu ton no omu di pesca no omu yese no omu ton no omu di pesca no omu media houses omu listening out tell omu debate me enye ska dia fund. So now if they've been able to generate enough revenue to be able to close some gaps on their finances or their financial losses, I think it's something good for Barcelona. I think Frankie de Jong contract it will be renewed on Enyama Mienu. One, if you would accept to reduce his wages, that would be one thing that Barcelona will be looking out for. Say a new contract, but you reduce your wages, send a bit me aboa, ame other new signings have been. So it will depend on Frankie de Jong. As of now, there is no club trying to get the signing of Frankie de Jong, so he will be forced to reduce it and now get into this Barcelona setup. Obi and him said this Barcelona team no. The way Anyama con next season they can win the La Liga again, they can get into the Champions League and perform more. So be a person about this Barcelona team. I think if there is a new contract offered to him with a reduction, he would go for it and want to stay at Barcelona. And they are looking at where Araujo leaving, he can be the next Barcelona captain and he will be happy to lead this young team into glory.
All right.
Listo, I think it's the transfer window no, I am very tight. I will remember how the Man United and Spurs game in the Europa League no, how I be affected United for signings. Listo, if United don't win the Europa League, don't expect they'll be making a lot of signings. men dan dream cry. You see, there's a lot of strikers in the market. And they what the price at Frankfurt for elbow for Hugo Ekitike. Unkita 86 million pounds men first member. And these are, I mean, some of the players. You go and spend so much money for such a player. Remember the Premier League, the price tag, the pressure. If he doesn't have that character to endure all this pressure, especially in a big club like Chelsea, Liverpool, United, or Arsenal, I mean, bad way said there are such players, but at least I think that Uber Africa looks like the football business will be nine and but I mean in recent times, Makachi was especially for the past 10 years, some of the teams were using data to buy players. And now I check Man City players are least amount over the 5 years are which of the players and I know a player apart from Erling Haaland and a lot of players Edinechi. Which of the players no a player make a Sanibia or a hot kick not all the clubs Dinechi. Bernardo Silva, I mean he was great when Monaco, Kylian Mbappe, Radamel Falcao, those Tiemu Bakayoko. That's I mean a team, he was part of that team. But how many teams and how many big teams were chasing that player? Kevin De Bruyne about Chelsea went back to Wolfsburg, Man City for by Jeremy Doku. He was an exciting player, one of the upcoming wingers, exciting players to watch in Europe. Look at Ruben Diaz. The number of players, a few players, and maybe a City when maybe a more bidding war. And in fact, when it comes to the money, when it comes to the project and Pep Guardiola, in fact, Pep Guardiola, Neymar, attractive players. Once again, the money, the Qatarians, the kind of money, and at that moment, Manchester City were also winning. But you see, there are a lot of teams are players in fact a bad team they wouldn't want to sell some players into my starting free Manchester City right now. The last time Pep Guardiola best signed a contract Guardiola contract in a year with an option to extend, and the planning in and say Guardiola he won't be at Manchester City in the next 5 years or even next 4 years, but they want to start the rebuilding from Pep Guardiola. And I hear clear say Kevin De Bruyne ebe free team anymore. He's been one of the pillars, in fact one of the most important players for Manchester City since Pep Guardiola ebe taking over any or any buy. And now if you defense now, Kushan of Abba. There's another defender, Matonaba. They have right back issues and they believe that Nico Williams with Mabel. But right now at the left back and that Branton and Kekes or Borussia Dortmund, they are trying to battle with Liverpool and reporting in terms of money, wages, they are offering to both the player and the club. Manchester City they are better, and the player choose between Manchester City and Liverpool. And reporting says that if Ekoban the player will lean towards Manchester City. Right now, Listo, a ban in midfielder, there are a lot of players maybe they are trying to offload. Oko Man City team nima, there are a lot of players City will offload. So, man for your margin say maybe they are struggling and they are rebuilding no more. It's in a poor position. They are very quiet. Chigi Belkistan are very quiet, doing the dirty jobs, signing players from North America and South America. Right now, check your defenders now. Manuel Akanji, Nathan Aki, Ruben Diaz, and Josco Vadio. With Nathan Aki and Manuel Akanji, in their next 4 to 5 years project on somewhere, these players are not part. So if you see say Nathan Aki and Manuel Akanji, any offer be from any other teams across Europe, men are surprised. The only players are Ombet Miatana. No more started the project, Ruben Diaz and Josco Vadio. Then they will let Kushanov and Eddie Victor Reis, Brazil international, free Palmeiras last on by. And I think they have Pusey Jamai, this England boy. He has been playing for some time now. To understand them, they will buy defenders. But they believe that if Omunya a right back for next season. Now say Josko Vadra move to the preferred position, which is the left center back, and they also have Ruben Dias. And they also make Majama because Dias no or should they be suggest that Otuku and like Oteki over them 28 years Obehiani experience, and then the cushion of Bayern, they gave him that. I mean the first game especially against Chelsea to play against Chelsea. In two Chekomu teams now, Omo idea and how they want to set up the team list all I clear. Right now in midfield, Kevin De Bruyne abeko, Ike Gundogan and common plans on Samsuna Kovacic and common plans on. But in recent times, you won't say O'Reilly and then the Argentine international qualifying by who is dead and no yet and the 20 cultimate Argentine they very Claudio. I think the last game of boy he was playing. Especially in the FA Cup. Almost also Oscar Bob. They also have Makati and they report as Chelsea wants this guy, and they also wants to make reinforcement. You shouldn't forget say they have Abranta and Rodrigo to also come in, Rodri to come in, and then if they have Rodri, they have Makati, they have other especially player bit is Bernardo Silva. They can also set up, add the young lads, integrate them into the squad. Normally into the next season. If they want Morgan Gibbs White, last week, the reason why if Omenya Florian Vita because used to Vita no, one more my aware say if Obe free Liverpool is here, the preferred destination, Bayern Munich. But the thing is, that valuation, the money now Bayern Munich for Bayern Munich ready to pay, and if any Bayern Munich Obe call Real Madrid. But right now, listo Real Madrid for no. Omo sikasem enshedanye. They are in debt a lot of Neymar because they will be doing a lot of sellings. In Russia in recent times, Manchester Real Madrid have been buying players on free transfer, but any free say they don't pay a penny. The amount of money they were supposed to give to PSG, that money went to Kylian Mbappe and any agency home. So in as much as players ever free no, they pay the signing on fees and agent fees. These players normal representatives. Right now. For the right wing position for Manchester City, they are set. They have Omar Mamouche, they have Alexander Doku, but in terms of the left side, they have Savio, and they would want to sign another left winger. Oh, bet on it Savio to two players at the right, and then they Omo Branson Dean Eddie Haaland, which is only the only striker, and then Kokobasa Haaland and Bar, they have Omar Mamouche. So City will also be signing a striker. But the striker will be the average type of striker, even if he's not starting corner. On team for pressure, and my coaches, and now on critique any bad moments and a bad energy or dressing room. You have to know that if Erling Haaland is there, Obabe a backup, Obabe the FA Cup, any the EFL no. Until so, what checking a year City team now? Their main option is that they say they want to replace Abranta and the Eddie Kevin De Bruyne. And they believe that Phil Foden is still young, 24 years old. He can play from the flanks. He can play from the middle. In the Neno, they will just do some small reinforcement into their team. And then if they're able to get Morgan Gibbs White, who is a tried and tested in the Premier League, coming to the almost scene, if Pep Guardiola beats Miyaboa, they want to set up a team, right from the onset. Until it's to what check the team now, they want to sign players who are young players. Best at rebuilding in the next 5 years. They also dominate again. How Listo now to Manchester United, and they United they are one of the few teams listo and since the Glazers and I say Jim Ratcliffe ebe join you mono or cut it down cost and the Europa League final and kind to at first now Glazers for the top tickets and my clubs players no and then staffs no beer two tickets. Apart from the players, they didn't buy for the backroom staff, and it took to the coach Ruben Amorim to buy the ticket for the staff, some for family members, and call a year Bilbao. No more conquer the UEFA Champions League final. Listo, but you see, Uchaki United are lose over 130 million over. I mean, last season, ABC this season, and almost total loss for the past 3 seasons. Listo, Akwa over almost 300 million. So winning the Champions League, no, will also determine the kind of signings that United beat me here. In Tenewasha, the kind of players are into the transfer window or my open. United ain't me ancient and by some because the number of valuations at some of the clubs airborne. United cannot afford this But you see, if United are able to win the Europa League at least all, it means that they are guaranteed 100 million profit next season, which is Okakubo in the UEFA Champions League right now at least two. Let's not for my mama for Adrian Basso said the league phase now or more extended and say yeah about the Champions League about 8 games no. Essential work clubs no because first no overall just 4 games, 2 home games. No but is it 3 games there? Yeah. Say 4 games. Overall 2 home. Overall 3 home. No about 3 away. But right now we about 4 home games, which is another money, and with the number of games near Bono, the TV rights and the sponsorship money now to United are guaranteed 100 million pounds if they are able to win the Europa League next season. It means that on many Champions League football, one, if almost any player they can propose the Champions League football, it will be to say Victor Osimhen. If you want to sign Osimhen, who proposes Champions League football, if you are able to pay the wages, it's likely that NASA will project now, falling in line with player and in progress and what he wants to achieve in the next years. He will come and sign for you. So in Prem, they are trying to sort out the lap. And now check the lap at least too. He's familiar with the Manchester City, the northern part of the United Kingdom. Right now, Ipswich for them Emma and they only United for a face-to-face meeting. After United, and you want a brand and sign contract. They also give him time to also negotiate, have face-to-face meeting with clubs like Chelsea and other clubs are almost chasing a The reason why United are hoping to meet the lap is that Matheus Cunha, with the kind of system a coach Cunha can play as the first 9, he can play as a second striker. And reporting said they are almost done with Matheus Cunha. And Wolves for no I already said they want to cash in on Matheus Cunha, saying your uncle Manchester United. So if you are buying Cunha for more than 50 or 60 million pounds, you can go for another player because right now you are not so sure. Say Joshua Zexi, any Rasmus Højlund that got for buy with just last season's buying. Because the kind of money I could for buying, who could for players in more than 60 million pounds, and you cannot sell them 40 million, 30 million in less than 2 years. I'll cover players nearby. You better run at a loss. So if the lap is coming out, it means that they are going to buy the lap 30 million. That is in the release clause. That is when it's called relegation. In the list, Ochaki United for you now. Winning the Europa League, the most parity thing, and they say, I'm going signing players. They will get money or more debt or more, and they will check United list. They cover almost billions total debt or more, and they would want to clear for the past 3 years over 300 million debt in the United team and they would want to clear that. But what I can say is that United in terms of defense, coach better a defender obviously see how he wants to play because on the 3-back system no bono. Dobejina Finfin, Dobejina the right side, and Dobejina the left side. Akwa say if Lisandro Martinez is fit, he will fit in. Lenny Yoro are provided and will prove is if he's fit or best team fitting to Ruben Amorim style no person bono. Right now, Patrick Dogu I show glimpses say that left wing position no person bono. Right now the only situation about the right wing side hono because an official money Chelsea game now. How he wants his right full back and the left right wing back and the left wing back to be positional. Majority that lot they are not getting that position so that is the reason why I got to a time no about Amad Diallo. So United list to clear that they will buy a midfielder. They also buy 2 attacking players and they mount more another assurance if he can stay fit. Omunya Dilap any Matheus Cunha. Maybe they won't sign a lot of players up front because or Matheus Cunha or Dilap if Joshua Zexi and Rasmus Højlund move better now, he will still have a lot of options. But United will also have to sell. That is the reason why homegrown players, be it said Garnacho and even Kobe Menu, if any lucrative contract be a bar, they will leave all these players to come. But at least as I now idea, I can tell you that Dilap and Matheus Cunha the only players are Omar Bareda, Omania Breso makes me lock these players down. If they are able to lock these players down, Dilap and Machon Skunha, it means that right now they come to get a center back. I'll bet imagine and film for Lisandro Martinez and Lenny Euro, and also Omar said Omeko Marketimu. If they'll get a right wing back who can play right now, they've raised for Jeremy Frimpong. I had to obviously Omuntiminya Jeremy Frimpong. He's going to Liverpool. Jeremy Frimpong is going to Liverpool. Liverpool also make some signings. They want to make signings into a midfield. Making signings because in as much as Ryan Gravenberg bought that position in Bobo, they also need another player. If they want to keep them, or make keep your same players now, sign a lot some defenders, left back, then maybe they will try and see if say Darwin Nunes require. They also need a striker. Liverpool so here striker. They are looking at options: Victor Gyökeres, Hugo Ekitike, and Jonathan David. And Michael Edwards must start seeing Jonathan David. If Barca they will get a player on a free transfer and also fit into a iron slot, iron style of play. How about the game? No. So Listo with United right now, they are only thinking about just 2 signings. If they will know their fate after say a multi Europa League and that is when United will know the signings of especially in midfield. But they believe that with the how Omubombon, if Omunya Kunha and even the lap, these options are very cheap and also for the future, they can also maintain them and also fight for a Champions League spot, fight to get the team running smoothly. But as I know, they say United, they will be able to cash in on Anthony. Anthony, it doesn't look likely. Say he will flourish under Ruben Amorim's system now, but so they will cash in on Anthony. They will cash in Abraham Garnacho and a lot of midfielders. Lindelof Muina. There's a lot of players United want to cut from the team. So if they're able to do that, a lot of things will be in their mom. Right now, I think that Chelsea transfers in medical realm, I say they almost transfers now. It also determine on where they will finish, especially the Champions League spots, how the club wants to go, the number of players more musha, wages in Esun, lucrative now money money can't Enzo Fernandez there no. I mean the last time in Bekancho was Enzo Fernandez. If Chelsea are able to get the amount they spent on him with Benfica, that's all they won't hesitate to block the move. A reporter and then they won't hesitate. But if that 150 or 130 million euros are and they from Madrid want to come and pay right now, Madrid midfield issues no. Me I don't see say Enzo Fernandez to Madrid no. Maybe and they Florentino Perez because they would want to sign Galacticos. Right now the issue is Alonso my hint say the 3-4-3 and now the 3-5-2 or Leverkusen. That formation cannot work at every club. And Omaya aware say if Oba Madrid with the players available, if he has to stick to 4 back or 4 back, right now they have Camavinga, they have Aurelien Tchouameni, and no more Jude Bellingham. These are central midfielders. And in the game, if he's about 3 midfielders, it means that Camavinga, Tchouameni, and Bellingham, one of these players will sit there right now. Comparing Stella to Enzo Fernandez, Stella who is being recommended by Xabi Alonso, and Stella my bet na can there. I mean, there is a reason why the German national team, he is playing as their defensive midfielder, and now the German national team now, he's one of the players and he almost started on midfield. There is a reason why, because Obo Stuttgart, maybe he's not playing for the Dortmund or the Bayern Munich, but how he's playing, the players under 24 years in the Premier League and across the Europe top 5 are about progressive passes. Obo be seeing every player ahead of Pedri, Damsgaard, Moises Caicedo, and Chelsea Enzo Fernandez. So, Listo, I think that getting Stella, which is a better option, a cheaper option, a player recommended by the coach. In fact, maybe they will make a move to Enzo Fernandez. But ain't me near this window. because they would have to offload a lot of players. They will need to make a lot of signings into their team. And they Asensio, last minute time Bekadja say Asensio case be or quarter. There is this sex tape be a Madrid youth team players be mo ekoko twa ya and they omo di ma Abrante ka so mo mani hwe bi and no hwe bi on so share ma other players. I in report interest na so betimi ayeshi. So if they are also going to lose Asensio to legal matters, it means that they are going to sign a lot of players. In fact, since Toni Kroos free team, they are missing somebody who can do that job for them. Progressive passes, forward passes, no. They are missing somebody who can do that job for them. So comparing Stella and Enzo Fernandez, list to who you Florentino Perez, and now you Xabi Alonso, who but team says here. You have players, good midfielders, team but Stella and Enzo Fernandez. Enzo tried and tested or proving were at the highest level at the Argentina national team, at Chelsea, season in, season out, or show consistency, or show improvement in all aspects of the game. He can play deep, he can play up front. Stella can also play as a DM, as a center forward, and a band that progressive passes are in Madrid. Messia, he plays in the top 7 leagues across Europe. Under 24 years, Enzo Fernandez, falling under that age category, no, or boss our passes in this new year. So, Listo, with Madrid, they're also looking at the financial fair play rules because Madrid for Listo, they also almost in terms of the number of defenders on pra. Look, so many team the goalkeeper so because goalkeeper is it almost second goalkeeper. They are hoping so also be contract going to be full. So in the Madrid team, they also hoping so on offload Anthony, and they also need Florian Wirtz, another player. The coach would also want to work with. They need defenders. So with me, I think that Enzo Fernandez, the medical can say, if Madrid fought Tebrisca right now, we want to make that Marquis signing, we have to make that Galactico signing. Let's say Enzo Fernandez. I won't be surprised that Chelsea will leave him to go, because at this moment they believe that they are doing a lot of scouting. They have Moises Caicedo, they have Romeo Lavia, they have Andre Santos, who's also coming from Strasbourg with that kind of experience, especially playing his first full season in Europe. The number of ratings a spotlighter only for Strasbourg this season. They believe that they will miss him, but they will also try and search for another player which might be replacing in that manner. So I think that the football is a business, and in that regard, also with Barca transfers Listo
with the Rodrigo bit,
Rodrigo then say last me catch you say since this year I hear obvious that Rodrigo is not happy at Madrid, and Akwakoye say if Xabi Alonso how best set up in the team, Rodrigo will not be getting much playing time. In fact, watch check on my last games of Moboina, they are playing Adagula. And listen to check Rodrigo with Chelsea's situation. I hear clear that Chelsea, one of the main things in this season is after signing a striker, they need a right winger. With Mikhailo Mudryk issued pending with
left winger with right.
Right-footed winger.
Yeah,
they need a right-footed winger, and then that right-footed winger no more here. There are a lot of names out there right now. Jamie Gittins is also a part, and then who check it Dortmund for sporting director Kiel Obabeka said Gittins is in the transfer market. If they're able to get 60 million euros, they will leave him. That is getting the right deal for the player. A lot of teams HSC are brand here. Right now, Rodrigo will also come into the Chelsea setup with an experience he's had all over the years with Madrid and the Brazilian national team.
Winning mentality. Everything that
leadership. And on Samsung Yesebia when he or Samsung falling into the age category of the project now, and the blue company for more air. Right now, the situation is if Chelsea are going to trigger the 25 million buyout clause and option to buy clause, obligation to buy clause with Jadon Sancho now, it means that they are going to pay over 250 million pounds a week for Jadon Sancho, unless maybe they will negotiate with Jadon Sancho. Say this cannot join Manchester United.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, I need that.
And if Rodrigo is coming, he's not going to earn more than that amount now, they will give
Kopama.
it to a year.
Kopama Ejino.
Yes, Kopama on G2, so on G2 180.
Chelsea at the moment highest there is
James 250. And if Rodrigo is coming, used to all Real Madrid know he's playing for Real Madrid, arguably a bigger club than Chelsea. And
So
if Chelsea,
money 200 or Chelsea or Beji.
I don't think used to. Then I'm just saying
200 or Beji.
you see, it will come between the bonuses.
And you see, Chelsea
right
should
now,
the way, you know. The bonuses with that come with anything about young players, you know.
Yes.
Signing because they believe it's okay. I'm young, I'm now improving. Look at Enzo Fernandez, for instance. I'm sure, sir, if transfer window will close, now say Enzo, where am I, fan?
Rodrigo won. He has almost been 2 years on the contract. Oji almost over 300,000 euros or Real Madrid. Even if Oji more than 300,000.
Spain do mutuya. Spain
Rodrigo Oji more than 300,000.
You go and I'll find out.
The thing is, if he's coming to Chelsea, when Enzo Fernandez was coming to Chelsea, he had just spent 6 months playing with Europe. From River Plate all by Europe to Benfica, and he got the chance to play for the Chelsea players from Mohon. None of the players who are now make us more than 180. These are players, young players are Wajia 80, 100. So what I say, you some rewarded Nicholas Jackson, you also rewarded Kopama, and how much the bomb say, Yaji trophy, there are bonuses. But the thing is, if Rodrigo is coming out, I can say Uko Manchester City or Uko Liverpool City, who are prone to winning trophies in recent times. He says, Uber City say, I will give you 250,000. Yaji Liga, member 10 million, and I'm 20 million as bonus. Yaji FA Cup. Uber check City record for the recent years. The number of trophies of because definitely Uko City Uber trophy.
Okay, so Rodrigo Goes an estimated gross weekly wage of 240,000 euros. 240,000.
Yeah.
He will not get 300,000. This is gross. What I say? So if we taxes near there, it might be around 190, 180. What I say? So if Oba now Chelsea mano net 200,000 a year, and it's a challenger here. No, he is coming to be the main boss instead of being in the shadows of Vinicius Junior. Okay, last season, Crano, and this season, Ballon d'Or list never, and he wasn't part, and he wasn't happy. And in how am Madrid for no a structure of players, no. What I say, it's only so about Chelsea, and with Chelsea history with a year Brazilian players, no. I say if we give him 200, and even Rich James just saying
250.
If we give him 230, 240 po.
But next season, Chelsea be share with these players, beating because almost said the likes of
Club World Cup also.
And the likes
Benchua will also leave.
Sterling 270, 250.
Exactly. He's a player of fitted the bill, including amount of OG. You are going to Club World Cup. Look at the amount you are guaranteed, almost 200 million. You are getting from the Club World Cup. And you know say how the Chelsea model is now. No, they are making a lot of money. What I say, and Chelsea to qualify Champions League. If Chelsea is able to beat Nottingham Forest or even get a draw, and Man United also draw with Aston Villa, and Chelsea make the Champions League, extra bonus. Getting the Champions League money.
Apart from joining such teams, I know sometimes players don't move back because Rodrigo, if Chelsea, City, and Arsenal hosts here, I think that Rodrigo, the agent, will advise he should go to City in terms of that bonus is never banned because City are prone of winning trophies. Arsenal then are consistent and Chelsea getting the Champions League spot would mean so much for them to get some of the players from some because right now the reason why Ama Rodrigo in the situation to joining City AI complicated and say recently Omkofa Oma Mamouche buy, and if they have Mamouche They have Savio and they have Jeremy Dokwa. It means that if Rodrigo is going, he's going to start.
Grealish, so.
Grealish, I mean, he's not part of a long-term project no more yet. If Grealish,
so Man City,
Man City they are starting now. I mean, or can some of the teams only can show interest that they want the guy. But the thing is City willing to sell Doku and Amamush? So what I say, and play an preferred position of his ball, the right, as in the right side. If Chelsea wants to get Rodrigo, to me, it will be an ideal transfer for them. It will be a transfer able boost team because when Kopama, Enzo Fernandez, Unya striker, if they are able to bank in and cash in on Victor Osimhen, now Rodrigo, at least these players who can share any team, they will be afraid because Rodrigo, a tried and tested, who Victor Osimhen, a tried and tested, who Kopama for the past 2 seasons, arguably one of the best young players in Europe. Who Enzo Fernandez, a generational talent. Who Caicedo, arguably one of the best defensive midfielders in US football currently. If Reece James is fit, you have arguably the best right back. So to me, list to end can right now football transfer no. Akwa say a pattern. So only BB say the player will not come. The reason why of late Arsenal for no, whenever Omoko a bidding war with some of the clubs like Chelsea, Man United, or Mulison, they are not prone at winning trophies. And some of the money Chelsea the only players are only few players be who play America say bia Omukonya na apart from Declan Rice maybe a Chelsea and Man United for you much. But in fact, these clubs were not ready to pay that amount for Declan Rice. Because when Chelsea no more pay Declan Rice, Southern Lampard no persuaded Rice no defense. And they were not ready to go and spend 100 million on a player also the able defense. It wasn't going to happen. United were not ready to pay 100 million for a year Declan Rice. And Arsenal did that and they got their man. But right now, Listo, it's going to be very difficult. And I think that transfer in area, people at some of the clubs, especially Club World Cup, they will have money. Chelsea will have a lot of players to offload. They will get their money. But Listo, maybe the NSA. If Chelsea want to get some of the players they want to come and play, especially Mikelobi, whether Champions League football or no Champions League football, if Chelsea are able to at least get closer to the wage bill now, Victor Osimhen, the player wants to come and play. Any childhood club, any club, what follower fitting in club, he would want to play. And what would the Ratasa for here? They want to pinch him. They are ready to pay whatever money. I want to take you high in the day. No she go stadium announcer or the mic man Victor no matter Osimhen. They are creating a certain environment because listen, one thing I union study and say these players are about professional football. Some of them may take a decision according to where their wives and their children wants to stay, and so play a very huge role. I think that whatever projects all these clubs are doing, especially United like this, list to winning the Champions League, they will winning the Europa League, they will get Champions League spots, they will get money, they will have plans to offload some of the players and also get some of their more preferred choice. In fact, if Man United add the trophy every season, they also known for winning trophy. One FA Cup, or Beji the EFL, and the following season, or Beji the Europa League. So, listen to me, I think that with clubs, Newcastle, Obidze Newcastle say, listen. So, when one foresee a Champions League supporter, it means that players like Bruno Gomares at the City, for no money didn't achieve from last season to January, City been knocking on the doors, on the doors, Bruno Gomares will leave. Sandro Tonali and the Juve, any other clubs in Italy, are starting knocking the doors. They will leave, and especially their marksman, Eddie Alexander Isak. So I think that Listo, obvious that some of the clubs they will get their targets according to where they will finish at the end of the season. Because Listo, who finish it 14th, you won't go and spend 100 million, 80 million to go and buy a striker to come and lead your team, knowing for a fact a striker never or some sort of more than 300,000. So to me, I think that Listo, Rodrigo coming will be very huge if Chelsea are able to, get this deal done. It will also depend on the games that are unbelievable against Nottingham Forest, the English Premier League. Barca, maybe can come more transfer strategy at show. If they get a perfect deal for Frankie De Jong, they will let him go. But if any deal be
but he's saying they've given him a contract extension.
Yes, and list of contract extension. If a player is signing contract extension, it doesn't mean they won't sell him. Because no, so season where we are, I can't less than 2 years on the contract. So if they know extend the contract, that's a year 2 of your say player no person man kwa. Or not next season, so they are trying to avoid such things. So you can still extend Frankie De Jong contract. Ordinary transfers, na soccer so pay 80 million, and United or Manchester City show interest, they will pay and you will release the player. And right now, the amount of money Abase Babenya from winning the La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and all these things, and also some of the players are on offload, we also give them the money to register players like the new, to register more players, and also buying some of the players from Domeba. And now my eye clear say Rafinha. If Rafinha is staying, it means that Hansi Flick, Rafinha, they will need 1 or 2 signings be at the back, at the right back position, and in central midfield, Fermin Lopez, all these players. They will offload all these players. And the Barca and Listo, a main priority in a centre back, a right back, and maybe a right winger because they know that injuries will set in. From next season, the match loads are Lamine Yamal because this season now yet too obvious. Their games are they want to rest Lamine Yamal, but I'm resting the pet. No, so Mulusu, they have to bring him in. That is the reason why they want to buy some wingers that even if Lamine Yamal, who is the future, is not playing because Rafinha, he's not part of the long-term projects.
Rafinha,
yes.
Barcelona,
yes.
Rafinha,
on common long-term projects. Next 3-4, Rafinha on common long-term projects.
How? I don't understand.
Because the thing is,
one of their best players, and the man is saying,
you can be,
they are giving him,
you can be
a contract extension.
a best player for a club, right, and still not be part of a long-term project. In fact, Uchaki Rafinha, that left wing position now, Obon. He Obo Emani City because he started this season. He was playing even as a number 10, and they believe that Omo just right winger Bakupe, a left-footed player Obo from the right wings, which is Lamine Yamal. And then Lamine Yamal the future. If Lamine Yamal anywhere, now say your boy any game you want to rest Lamine Yamal, Rafinha have to start from the left.
And he's doing well there.
No, from the
Rafinha
right.
How many years?
28 years.
So 28 now they can get like 4 years or 5
December,
years.
Yes, statistics following season now.
5 years from
or
the player.
29. Anytime John said he's not part of. Even start of last season, they wanted to sell him.
So because of the coach preference.
Yes, and I'm just a never picky man. Still, Rafinha, if they're giving him contract extension, what they need is they need their right winger. Until Nico Williams is still not out of the race. If they're able to generate money to buy Nico Williams, the right wing on a higher need, and they can still play Rafinha as that number 10 now started season now Hansi Flick born. He will still be part of our plans next season, but that long term, next 3, 4, 5 years, no, he's not part of our long term projects from here. So at least I think that Barca, our presidents, our supporters, no, so you're almost close to €1 billion next season. They will cash in on players. They also sell some players. Normally, make it the most important signings. If they are not able to do all these signings in the summer transfer window, January they will make another increase. Some of the players will be in their account.